What kind of football player is Phil?
Phil's 5'4", 180 pounds, 8 years old. And he's a monster, man.
Welcome to VASA Sports. I'm Ira Hosea.
I'm Lance Falatongo.
And here we look at sports through a South Pacific lens. I'm all about sweating the technique.
I'm more about the data.
Today's show, as always, sponsored by VASAislandapparel.com for gear that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. Put on for the culture. Catch the wave at VASAislandapparel.com.
And our guest today is the president and co-founder of Island Boy Camp, a nonprofit whose mission is to empower players to be successful. Their goal is to teach young athletes fundamental football skills while building their confidence, character, integrity, work ethic, and sportsmanship. Give it up for Coach Alexander Fuimanono. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it, man. It's good to see you guys at a different light, man.
Not the club lights, the little neon lights.
Usually it's late evenings and stuff and working security, man. But this is nice, though, man. You know, we do stuff during the day, so it's nice.
We do. We're so excited to have you here with us. Someone who's really taken his own passion and used it to help the people around him and his community through sports and IBC, Island Boy Camp. If you could just walk us through the creation, like how did IBC start? Where did you guys start? Who's all in the group?
You know, IBC was really an accident, man, but it was a great accident. My oldest son, Diego, started playing football. We ventured out. He wanted to do other things, and I didn't want to force football on him, man. You know, I played my college ball at Western Oregon, and I always wanted, you know, to have a son to play some football. But for him, it wasn't in his cards. He wanted to do soccer. He wanted to do baseball, basketball. But eventually, when he came around, he was all like, I want to do football. So cool, let's do it. I took him to his first practice. Yeah, I was waiting, man. I already had playbooks and everything. So like, you tell me when you're ready, son. So we show up to his first day of practice, and this dude that's over there is the volunteer coach, doesn't know a lick of football, man. Seemed like a good guy, and I'm sitting there and like, none of the stuff makes sense. None of the principles, you know, stuff I grew up, you know, playing football and stuff. So it just didn't make sense. So I went to go talk to the guy that ran everything. And there's a friend of mine named Boo Marker, and he ran the Boys and Girls Club. And he pretty much threw it right back at me. He was all like, listen, if you want to be so critical about it, why don't you grab the whistle and come coach? Yeah. And that's how it started. You know, I started coaching, you know, Diego, his teams, but all the boys, and we were still doing music. So we were in a different, you know, different realm, different place in our lives. The boys were still being hardheads and knuckleheads. They would come to the games and scare everybody on the opposing sidelines. They would go stand on those sidelines with those parents and tell them not to cheer for their kids. So all these people, I got a letter from the Boys and Girls Club. They're like, you can't have your family out there if they're going to be doing that. So I brought all the boys up for a barbecue, and I was all like, listen, if we're going to do this, let's do it the right way. You know, all these people that, you know, and you guys have all this knowledge. I just put this knowledge together, and instead of being knuckleheads and over there harassing people, why don't y'all come and use your football knowledge and we influence it with our culture and everything that we do. And that's how IBC started. All the boys, you know, it started with me and my brothers, Mike, Nick, Chris, my cousin Funaki, my cousin Brando, my cousin Bodel, and then Boom Marker. We're the founding fathers of it, and it just took off. The first year they gave us 3 teams, and from there it was like, man, how do we bring everybody in and kind of share our Polynesian culture? You know, mainly our Samoan and Funaki's Tongan cultures. Like, how do we, you know, influence these kids and show them a different light? You know how Polys are. It's all about family, man. And when Polys talk about families, you got Balangis, Meolis, Mexicans. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be Poly to be family. You know, if we break bread with you, that's fam. So, and that's how it went, and it just took off from there. And little by little, you know, we started getting bigger. We didn't do anything in the spring, so it was like, well, why don't we create a league? We don't have a kid. We don't have anything to do. So we created a flag football league. We started with 27 kids for the first season. And then from there, it's taken off. And that league's had, I don't know, a couple thousand kids in the last 10 years. And it's just It's everywhere now, man. We have all these kids that are moved there. We got kids in college now that started with us. I think at last count, we're close to about 3,000 kids that we've been working with in the last 10 years. Not all of them continue to play football, but they're still family, and we still stay connected with everybody.
Yeah, just to see where it started and where it's grown to, and how many people it's affected so positively is super motivating to see, man. You inspiring us.
Oh, man, thank you. Thank you, man.
Yo, man, to just change one person's life is impactful and beautiful, man. But like, yo, you 3,000 pesos, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It, shrugging off those numbers like it ain't nothing. Those damn, man, that's big. That's beautiful,
big
man.
Impact.
The hardest thing that we've been able to do this whole time is we're a nonprofit. So all of my coaches, all of my admin people, even myself as president, nobody collects a paycheck. Not one of us get paid for what we do. Everything's 100% volunteer work, man. But it guarantees to me that people aren't in it for different reasons or, ulterior motives. Like, it's out of pure love that people come in and be like, damn, y'all don't get paid for none of this? It's like, nah, man, we do it for love. And it's hard, but it's good work. In our Samoan culture, especially, man, kokua is the biggest thing, man. Service. Right. And we figure that's us being of service, and helping kids out. Our biggest influence was our dad back in America Samoa, growing up in Samoa. Like, it was tough, but he was everybody's first coach. He announced all the football games, for the varsity and stuff back home in Samoa. So we didn't know that we would end up along these lines. We always thought music was our thing. So we started doing our music back in America Samoa. And, we did our thing with the band, but it just didn't pan out. It was a different life, and we were in the bars like 5-6 nights a week and still trying to keep day jobs. And
were you the lead singer?
I tried, but me, man, I can't sing. It was us four. We rapped. So we had that 684 and Long Kiss Goodnight. And, we were all over the place, man. We co-headlined Hemp Fest with Slightly Stupid. We're on the first Hemp Fest compilation CD. But we did so much with music, but there was something missing there. There's something missing. And we started having kids and families. It's like, man, I can't be talking about all these things. I don't want, that's not my life.
Yeah.
My life is at home with my kids, making sure they're going to sleep on time and going to school on time. So, that transition to coaching just came naturally after that. Like I said, it was a beautiful accident.
For no money, you were doing it for the love of coaching.
Yep. Passion, man.
And we saw you talk about that, finding your passion so you don't have to work a day in your life. But for no money, that really just shows how much you want to help. It's not about, adding a bunch of dollars or sponsorships. We got our own coach here on the VASA Sports. We got Forrest Dodelau. Forrest, how you doing?
Good, man. Alex probably doesn't remember me, but I'm a year behind Alex. I went to Marist, and
that's so why.
Actually, so Jeff Felice is like my best friend. My family's from Pongo too.
Oh, nice.
So, like, to see you come out here and do all this that's amazing, because I know where you guys came from. I know your dad, and I think I'm closer to Nick's age. Nick and
Nick and Chris.
Yeah. So man, people won't see it when you come out here, when you talk about how you're from back home. They won't know what you came from to where you are now. Even if you're doing it for no money at all, it's still a long way from where we were back home. So,
Forrest, do you think, is that something that you've seen in your coaching career, that people will do it not for the money, but for the love of coaching and helping?
If you're coming from back home, because of, especially for me and Alex, because at the time we played football, basketball, baseball back home, we didn't have the opportunities the kids have now. We didn't have the JPA sports that they had, the football leagues they have back home. We didn't have coaches coming to see kids like they do now. We didn't have those resources, none of those resources. If you weren't doing your own recruiting, or if you weren't lucky enough to have a coach on the team that saw your potential and vouched for you, you know what I mean? You were shit out of luck, man. Like, you really had to put in the work. Like, I'm not saying the kids don't have to now. We had to put in extra work. Like
100%.
but yeah, like football wasn't. It was still big, but baseball was what was getting kids off island back then for school.
Yeah.
So if I went to Marist, I played baseball, and we were good at baseball. We won baseball almost
Every
every year.
year.
So yeah. So
the farmer boys.
He was a class ahead of me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know if you remember Jeff Felice.
Yeah, I remember Jeff and the Solaita boys.
Jeff was just out here Saturday. His son played in a league here. They're from Sacramento, but they brought their team over to play one of the younger teams in Seattle. So he was out there. I got to see him. But I mean, yeah, all those guys, they were my baseball guys, and we got opportunities that kids around the island didn't get because we played baseball. But it was still such a struggle for, if you were playing any sport and you were decent, I mean, it was a struggle for you to get off the island to play your sport.
It was almost unheard of. And I graduated in 96. My dad did all my recruiting, man. He off of newspaper clippings, not even videotape. He took newspaper clippings from Samoa News, made copies and stuff downtown in Foncongo, and he sent it to every college that he can get a hold of.
Nice.
And I only had 3 that reached back: Snow College in Utah, Northern Arizona, and Western Oregon. So, and my dad was like, I don't care, pick one. Whichever one, just you ain't staying in Samoa.
Exactly.
How did you decide between those 3, Arizona, Utah, or Oregon?
I wanted cold weather. I was tired of that weather. And Utah sounded hot and far, and Arizona, I was like, hell no. But I figured Oregon, and my dad, you know, they used to live in Vancouver. My dad actually used to teach in Vancouver. I was born in Tacoma. So my dad used to always tell us about, man, there's some good fishing spots, camping, you know, that's pretty much life in Samoa. That's normal. We fished and camped. That's how you ate. So, you know, Oregon was really attractive, and there was nobody here, and I kind of wanted to start over. You know, Forrest kind of touched on it. We grew up very rough life in Samoa, man. Like, we came from the States in 88 and moved to Samoa in 88. And we're stateside kids. So when we get there, man, people, they hated us. We dressed like kids from the States, and we had the long hair. And, you know, for the first year, we fought. We fought everybody. You know, that's just what it was. And they were calling us Palangi toys, which is just, you know, it's very offensive and
super offensive, guys. It's super offensive.
It
really is.
Samoan. I was just born in the States. Yeah. That's what we're saying. Palangi toy. You know, it's like, no.
Make it worse. I'm half Filipino. Shit.
Oh, yeah. See, even the half. Man, all the kids. Basically, if you spoke English well, you know, and pronounced your vowels and stuff, people looked at you like, "Oh,
you got your target on your back already."
Yeah, people want to fight you. And you know, they always teach kids like the bigger man walks away. Not in the Polynesian culture at all.
Nope.
You have no choice but to defend yourself because everybody wants to fight. And if you decide you're gonna walk away, it's a good chance somebody's gonna hit you in the back of the head with a rock. And that's just how we grew up. That's just life, you know. We grew up a very violent life in Samoa. I love it. I love Samoa, man. And I haven't been back. I'm going back this next summer for the first time in 25 years. We're taking 3 camps back to Samoa with Timo and the crew, man, and Kendrick Bourne. And we want to take 3 camps to every high school back home. So that's our big plan, working with JPS. Now that we have JPS Oregon, which we're official now.
Nice.
JPS, Junior Prep Sports.
Yeah, Junior Prep.
Team Oregon.
Team Oregon.
What are the plans? What are the trips you guys got planned? What's going on? I hear very exciting things.
So we travel. We're Team Oregon Hall of Fame. So we go to Canton and play out there at the Hall of Fame, All-Stars.
Yeah.
We travel everywhere, man. We've been out to Florida for the All-American games. I coach for the All-American games out there, 8th grade. But man, that's where this journey has taken us, man. It's the whole month of July, I was gone for football, man. They flew me out to Boise twice because I announced games for All-Stars now. And then we're at the Pylon National Championship with our 12U squad, the Oregoons.
Hey, throwback.
Nice.
4th in the nation, man, and we got to play at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play. So just being on that field, and that was in July, it was amazing. Like, we were on the sideline with Cam Newton. We were right behind him because we played right after him, and to be that close to that kind of a superstar and how cool he was with the kids, man. I was like, dude, man, I love that. I can respect that. He stayed until the very end, talked to every single kid, signed autographs. But you think, because I've seen dudes that have made it and gone to the highest, the higher echelon players and stuff, and they're like, nah, man, I ain't got time. But you forget about all these little people that have supported you. But to see that from somebody as big of a star as Cam Newton, man, was very motivating and humbling at the same time.
What kind of impact did he have on the kids? Just meeting them there.
Oh man, because he can get them the facilities, the training, get them in front of trainers. He uses his own. He pays for all their training and stuff. And some of the top recruits right now in the nation are from his 7-on-7 team. And his 7-on-7 team is amazing, man. Like we got to sit there. If you look at their highlights and stuff when they're catching these 40-yard bombs, you see all the yellow jerseys on the sideline. That's all us in the Oregon just standing there, and we're like, oh, touchdown, touchdown. And they won it all. So it was just, for my kids, man, just sitting there like, there was some tears, but it was like, man, soak this up. You might never be back here, but just know that your hard work and your sacrifice and everything that we've done to get here, man, it's worth it when you're in that moment and you see greatness like that. So, it's not something that happens every day.
That's exciting that you're able to provide that, for young guys that are looking to be in this sport, and just to help continue to motivate them and provide that inspiration. The same way you're doing to us, man. I'm pumped. Let's go. We're not even talking about the Chargers yet. I am excited.
I'm excited too, man. Just, seeing that with our culture, man. I see it. It's dope when we go to all these different things and we run into all these other poly coaches, because the attitudes and everything has changed, especially with COVID. Before, not everybody would work with each other. Everybody was kind of, guarded and be like, these are my kids. You can't talk to them. Don't look at them. But in COVID, man, people are very territorial that way, especially here in Oregon. It's like, nah, man, you either play for me or you don't play at all. But us, it's like, I have kids that play all over the place. And kids will come and ask, like, Coach, man, you cool if I go run with them? It's like, yeah, man, if it gives you an opportunity and you can travel and it gets you in front of a scout, you can get recruited, do it. Like, we were blessed. We had 25 in the midst of COVID. We had 25 seniors move on with scholarships this year, this graduating class, just for football. And that doesn't count all the kids that, academics and other sports and stuff, but just football. 25 seniors are playing at the next level, even though there was nothing during COVID. We created a league in the middle of COVID that was supposed to be something small, and it ended up being like 1,100 kids, one league. 70 teams from all over the state of Oregon, and we had to
working together.
Yeah, and that's what it was. We called this big meeting with coaches from the four corners of the state and the valley. And it was all like, listen, man, our kids need something. So we put our heads together. We figured out what loopholes we can do, what protocols we needed to implement. Gatorade all of a sudden called us up. They're like, hey, we want to sponsor this league. So Gatorade's our official sponsor for our Oregon Sevens League that we created. Ooh. So they provide free Gatorade and bars and stuff at the games for the kids. It's just, man, God's work, man. That's what I truly believe. Is like,
Amen.
What you put in is what comes back. That's that Gopua, is that service, man. And it was amazing. It was very, very stressful, but at the same time, man, it was so cool to just, and we traveled. We moved it all over the place. If somebody was in the phase that we can play, because we modified it, and you could do flag football according to the governor's, what she said was okay. So we just figured out, okay, different phase 2, we can play there. How many fields do we need to fit protocols and stuff? I'm lucky, man. It wasn't by myself, as well, all these coaches. And then I got Tessa, who was the most organized person in the world, and so I really leaned on my wife and said, I need your help. And she's like, cool. So she did everything. She's actually the brains behind all the stuff, while all of us get to just focus on football. So all the business stuff goes through her, man. And it's perfect, because I get to work on it with my wife.
All right.
So you get to do something you're passionate about that helps your community, that you can work together with your family with. You got it, bro.
Man, blessed, man. And she's from back home too, man. She's a 97 graduate of VASA. So
that Catholic education, baby.
She's very smart. Double masters.
Damn.
I was very smart this time around and got myself. No, I got a good partner in life, man, and that makes it really good because all my daughters, even my daughters, play football. My 3 boys and my 3 girls all play, and we're a football family. So everything that we do, but like the girls do a lot of volleyball and stuff too. So majority of weekends we split. Tessa takes the girls, I take the boys. We see everybody late Sunday night or early Monday morning. But it's just it's that sacrifice, man.
Yeah.
And that goes back to your question, Lance. You're asking me if it goes back to like what we learned back home, and that's a perfect example of Alex and Tessa having to coordinate everything and just sacrificing their time with each other to go and do these things. Again, not getting paid. You can learn it out here. You'll see a lot of people do it out here, but you're taught that early. If you live back home, you're taught that early. You know what I mean? To give without expecting anything back in the church, in your community, in your village. You know what I mean? Like, I know Alex was part of the Albango. You know, when you go out there, the only thing you really get, if you're a knucklehead satisfaction, is you get to beat up people when they're out late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real.
So,
when the side's on,
yeah.
it's like, what? I get to hit them and there's no nobody
I'm
calls
doing this for religion.
Yeah.
Man, that's so crazy, man. That's like the idea of like delayed gratification. It's that you're putting in the work right now for the payoff later. You know what I mean? And me coming from the culture out there on the rock about you're probably like delayed gratification. When did I get gratification? I'm like, hold up, wait. Y'all had rewards for working this hard, you know what I mean?
Right.
And man, just to when you were mentioning that some coaches were territorial, right? And that you were building IBC, if it was an accident that just blew up to become something beautiful. Like when it came to building IBC into what is now a legit household name, not just in Oregon, but it's sports across the nation. What did you expect? What are some of the things that you knew would happen? Or those, what are the moments that you were down? You know what I mean? Like when you, what was the one moment where you were like, nah, man, like this ain't worth it. But you pushed through that and then you saw the beauty after it. You know what I mean? You pushed through that for that delayed gratification. And now you know that the grind is worth it.
When we first started, man, it was hard because 707 wasn't going on here. And we were coming in, and Salem Kaiser, the school district that we live in, it's the second biggest in the state of Oregon, but you're looking at 51% are free and reduced lunch. So that was one of the hardest things. Is we wanted to get into all these tournaments, but most of the families broke. Most of these families, both mom and dad work, so kids are home all day by themselves. So we were getting a lot of kids from broken homes that didn't have a lot of money, that weren't able to travel. So that's why we stayed as a nonprofit. We could have been like all these other companies, because we've heard ridiculous numbers of companies that'll charge in a 3-month period for club football $4,500. It's like, dang, we charge $75 for some of our leagues, and they're good leagues and stuff. So it's that equity piece that was like, well, and it's hard to overcome at first. It's like, man, you want to give these kids, because we see these kids, and when we tell them we love them, it's like, man, that's part of our culture, and I'm going to share everything that I have. But it's hard to share when I don't have much myself. I got 6 kids of my own. I pay my bills and stuff. So we find ways, and that's the only way that we survive through any of the hard times, the early times. It's like, listen, we put all our resources together. Everybody knows somebody that has some kind of a business that can help. So when we got our business mind and our business plan intact to stay with the nonprofit, it became the biggest thing for us, because now we're able to go to any tournament we want in the United States and Hawaii or wherever. We're able to travel because we have the business plan. We didn't have that in the beginning. It was all like I said, it was an accident. It was like, we're just coaching football. We didn't expect to be in people's lives and, watch kids graduate and go to letter of intent signings and travel to see kids at their college games. Like, it's so crazy, man. I never knew this was going to be my life, but now I can't imagine my life without it. And that's what it is. It's like, man, every day when I get up, it's like, I got all these emails, text messages about people that need things, or people want stuff. It's like, cool. So I share with the group, hey man, we got a kid that needs shoes. And within an hour, kids got 3-4 pairs. But people know that we have these resources now. I reach out to my boys at Heart to Souls, which is another nonprofit, and I work with those guys and know them. And so we have a shoe program. So whenever kids need shoes, doesn't matter what sport, I reach out to them and they're all like, we'll take care of them. You know, and it's just those, it's like, and people are like, for free? So like, as close to free as possible, man. Like, we want kids to have opportunities, you know, and we, coming from our background of being hella broke, even though we didn't know we were broke, you know, it's like, we want to be able to give these kids as many tools so they can be successful and they can chase their dreams and stuff. You know, and that's what it is, man. We're just here to give you tools for your tool belt, man. That's what I tell kids, man. You might not like the tools that we give you, but someday that light bulb is gonna go off, and that's what Coach was talking about. Like, we're preparing them for real life. So now we're not just coaches, you know, football coaches, man. We're life coaches. So that's what it is.
Amen.
Over here teaching the wax on, wax off. 3 years later, you gonna get it. You gonna get it later. It's gonna make sense to you.
It's a blessing, though, man. I love it. I love it. You know, it's hard work, but I got knuckleheads right here in my garage lifting. Kids just show up. Can we use the weights? Like, go ahead, dude.
Oh, not your kids?
Well, one of them is my kid, but he's got some of his boys. They're just lifting. They just workouts. It's still like close to 100 degrees. They're down there lifting weights because, you know, season starts here in a month, man.
Right.
So just grinding.
Providing that space and that opportunity so that people can take advantage of it and advance themselves and advance their families and communities and growing and growing and growing. Let's go. I like it. When did you decide you wanted to be a coach? When did that click for you? Were you first coaching at IBC? Were you doing it before?
Just with my son Diego. So it was always me and Diego until me and Tessa reconnected. And then we had the whole family. Our families are yours, mine, and ours. She had a couple before I had Diego, then we got together, but we've raised all 6 kids together. But that's what it was. It started with me selfishly thinking about just my kid. But now, man, I'm uncle to thousands of kids, man. And that's how we talk to them. So, you know, it's that culture. It's like, what's up, nephew? So everywhere we go, people look like, that's your nephew? It's like, they're all my nephews. They're like, what? That kid is white. That kid is black. That Mexican. That kid's my nephew. So, yep, they're all my nephews, man. So nice. Our family is big. Yeah, man. That's why we're known for everywhere we go. On the back of our jerseys, we're known as the fan. And that's that thing. It's the culture. It's like, you have, when we're at these big tournaments, man, we teach the kids, the Mealies and the Butties. And you get all these people that are like, damn, that's man. Hard, bro. That's hard. We call a lot of our defenses in Samoan too. So kids will be out there, man. And you got people looking at them like, even the white kids speak Samoan. It's like, yep. But it's like, it's easy for us to hide our culture in there. But man, we're also sharing pieces. And you can see the change in these kids. And that's the most amazing thing, man. You know, when kids go home and then we hear from their parents, their parents will call us, be like, hey, so-and-so came home and was like, thank you for everything you've done for me. I love you. You know, I know that you're struggling, and my hope is that you won't struggle, you know, once I'm out of college and I do some big things. You know, it wasn't scripted, you know, it's just, and it's happening. And I just feel, God's plan. Yeah, it's all God's plan, man, at the end of the day.
I think it makes it easier for us too, as Polynesians, to coach, because that's our culture, literally, to take care of people.
Yeah, and tell people what to do.
That too. And to yell at people. And to yell at people.
I joke with people all the time, like, man, I was born to be a supervisor, man. I'm not a worker bee. I'm more like a queen bee, man. I'm good at telling people what to do. You know,
I know what the steps are, and I let you know in order what you should be doing. That's my job. You do your job.
I can't do it myself, but I'll tell you what the steps are and stuff.
Yeah, I'm all about delegation, my guy.
Yep. Even delegation as a group was one of my favorite oldies groups, man. So delegation is a great word, man.
I'm a chief in my culture, and I'm a chief here at work. You are the Indian.
You know, it also helps that what I do with my day job, you know, I work with adults and kids in crisis. So my whole life is nonprofit and service.
You still got a day job, Oz?
Yeah, 24 years. I started while I was in college. I worked for a company called PCL, Partnerships and Community Living. It's an amazing company. I was a director until COVID hit. And when football blew up, I couldn't do it anymore as a director. So now I just work in the homes. But man, we're all about improving the quality of life for the people that we support. So my mind is always on helping people that really don't have everything that they can or that they want, so that's just life now, man. My life went from being in Samoa to here. And if you know my story from when I was in college, I was one of the biggest knuckleheads around.
Or
I got a lot of trouble, man. But growing up in Samoa, that hard life, and nobody called the cops, but I get over here in Western Oregon in Monmouth, it was a dry town. You couldn't get any alcohol. We still were able to get it, but man, fighting was such a part of our life. And when I got there, man, I got into a lot of fights, and people here in the States tend to call the cops. So I saw
I hate how they be doing that.
Yeah, it's just the difference, that culture shock. It's like, what?
No, I just want to fight real quick. We're gonna settle this. We can talk about it later.
Talk after and settle.
Sometimes you just
best friends. That's how they became friends, man. We fought back home, and now we're boys and stuff. Come to find out, we're cousins. It's like, man, but life is different here in the States, and I had to learn the hard way. So when I talk to kids about real life stuff, it's from that angle. It's like, listen, man, I've been there. I've been locked up. I know what it's like. It's tough. But if you don't find, a reason to change or something motivating to get you to change, you're going to be stuck in that mindset and in that lifestyle. And that's not where you want to be, man. I wasn't a gangbanger, but it was always the adage, like, dude, you don't want to be a 50-year-old gangbanger. There's no such thing. There's no future there. So once I started having kids, man, I think that was the biggest blessing, is God put my kids and my wife in my life. And I slowed down, man. I had to take a step back, and I want to be here to watch all my kids graduate. My third just graduated. We're dropping her off to college next week. So I got 3 down.
Congrats.
3. Man, life is good. It's rough. It's rough, but man, this is what we prepared them for. Anybody that has a kid that's gone off, it's tough, man. But I'm excited for her. Very smart girl, man. She's going to do some great things. Mom got her first master's from Cal State Fullerton, so that's where she's heading, is Cal State Fullerton. So, and it's crazy too, because her cousin, her second cousin, is Desi Ale, who you guys had on the last show.
Yeah,
Desi actually on her graduation video sent up a video for my daughter Tiani. So it was really cool when I watched you guys' stuff. I was all like, hey man, we know Des. Like, what's the world, man?
Yeah, we appreciate you watching and listening.
I always watch and support, man. That's the most important thing. Is I hate that crabs in a bucket mentality, and you see it a lot with polys, just as you do with coaches. Sometimes, like, they don't want other people to shine, but it's like, listen, man, I'm all about positivity, man. I don't have time for negative energy or any of that bullshit in my life. Like, if I see other guys out there that I know, and I know you guys personally, I see you guys doing your thing, and I'm proud. I see the shirts, man. My boy, who's a big Charger fan down there, wears the shirts in his videos and stuff.
Let's go.
Yeah, man.
I need those video links. Yes.
Yep. It's just cool to see, man. And it's cool to see, because I told my kids, like, see that shirt? Man, I know those guys, man. Those are my boys from Top Flight.
Hey, man, Top Flight in the building.
It is. It's great, though, man. But it's great to see that and see where you guys are, because, man, this is dope, because not a lot of polys have this kind of a podcast or do any of this, but it's good because it shines light on other polys and other people that are out there doing the thing, man.
That's what me and Era were talking about. And then when Forrest came in, he was just like, there are so many people in this space that we didn't even know about. We were like, there's no Polynesian sports podcast. And then we come in, and I mean, there might not be a sports podcast, but there's so many people in doing the community work and doing great things that, like yourself, we just want to bring them on and use this platform to raise awareness and show people that there really are dope things by Pacific people going on right now. And again, IBC, you and what you guys have created is a really big example of what can happen when people come and organize for the good, of the children or of the athletes or of their community. Just really getting together and being, like you said, positive and just forward thinking and just going for it. So we very much appreciate you just for providing that example for us, man. That's it's not just your players. You got issues out here.
I have some of the most amazing coaches too, man. And convincing a coach to do it for free, you would think is a hard thing. But in the first 5 minutes, I bring a new coach out to see what we do with our camps and stuff. And we do all these free camps all over. And they're just amazed. First, the numbers, and then the football knowledge that's going on and what we're teaching kids and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm in. It's that it sells itself because it's selfless.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Or it goes in the building.
I did some writing back in the day, but that's the truth.
Communication
sells itself because it's selfless.
I remember all the talent shows at the Rainmaker. Don't worry.
We actually we're gonna drop off our daughter Tiani to college, and I'm going up to Monterey to see my boys that we used to do our music together. They're all there in Monterey next weekend. And it's a 25-year reunion for us, man. We all graduated in 96 together. But we've all gone on these separate, everybody's on a different path. Mm-hmm. One of my boys is a doctor. One of my boys is a teacher. One of my boys is a cop. And everybody, we're all in service right now. Everybody stayed in the service field of taking care of people. That just, it comes naturally as a poly, especially, man. It's like, my life is going to be taking care of people, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, because sooner or later, somebody's going to have to take care of me, man.
Yeah. We'll have to set them up. Using IBC to provide opportunities for players. One of the big ways is, like you said, to get those athletes a chance at college, getting them scholarships or figuring out a way to get them in front of coaches or scouts. So what are some ways that IBC does that for collegiate athletes or high schoolers trying to go to college?
The camps are big. So a lot of camps, majority of camps, when they come into Oregon, we get the message. So I'll get an email either to our email or somewhere on social media to be like, hey, we're bringing a camp. We understand you guys have a lot of kids, a lot of numbers. Would you be interested in helping? Absolutely. And if they can give as many scholarships as possible, then we go back and we tell our kids, this is what's coming. This is how many scholarships. And we got to just apply to get these scholarships, or we find ways to get them sponsors using nonprofit stuff. So as whatever we can do to get our kids to those camps, because, man, you get in front of the right coach or the right amount of coaches or any other people. You get people like Brandon Huffman, who's one of the best writers around, but he's 247 Sports. If he believes you're a big time star, you get your stars right there, and colleges are knocking. So that's what we tell kids, man. When we do our camps, when it's just us, that's our practice, man. When you get over there, that's the game and stuff. Like, you got to take it up another notch. You got to show these people, you got to go get your scholarship. And I get it. Not everybody's on that line where it's like, it's not mandatory to get a scholarship. Well, yeah, some of these kids' parents can't afford it. I know I can't. Right. And I make good money. My wife makes good money where we work in our day jobs, but I can't afford to put any of my kids through college, not at what college costs these days. So better go get a scholarship.
You better go get that money.
Man, get that free money. Took me 20 years to pay off student loans, and I didn't even get a degree. I got in trouble and ended up leaving school. So that is another place I teach from. It's like, listen, getting that degree, man, it doesn't guarantee everything, but that degree is important. It sets you up with the possibility of a good job in the future. You want to make sure, that high school diploma is always that gift for your parents, for everything. But that gift to yourself is that degree. So tell kids, if you can get somebody to pay for your degree, why not? Especially when you ain't got to pay it back for the rest of your life. So that's and it doesn't matter. It's like, dude, there's more academic scholarships out there than athletic scholarships. Amen. So if you take care of your grades and you do what you need to do, and you're a good person, because, man, everything's a trial. So that's what we tell our kids. Everything's a trial. Wherever you're at, even if it's not on the football field, man. How you are as a person, man, it reflects your family, it reflects the camp, it reflects all of us. So, we tell kids, man, that leadership and service is very important. Like, we want to make sure that you're good people, because football ends just like any other sport. But it's a very important thing for us that we tell our kids. Most people don't know when the end of their football career is coming. Majority of people. Ray Lewis is one of the only people that can win a Super Bowl and walk off into the sunset and stuff. Everybody else is like an injury or something happens and it's done. And you don't know how much a school feels about you until you're injured. That you get pushed to the side very fast, or if you're not available. So I'm telling them, man, the most important ability is availability. And if you're not available,
okay, LeBron.
we use all of it, man. We have to. Like, I sit with my coaches. We go through our seminars. I've taught at the Nike Coach of the Year clinic, but it's all things like, man, we take tidbits from all over, from real life, and we have to, man. Otherwise, the kids won't pay attention. Like, I might have to put some trainings together on a TikTok just to get these schools to really listen. Because some of them
block him here,
right? Kids would watch that and they would share it. It's a different generation, man. Like, you don't know what. That's another thing, is we have to monitor these knuckleheads and their social media accounts, man. Because one stupid tweet, one stupid post can really change a kid's life, man. We've had to go through it.
True.
So if you look on Instagram, especially, majority of our kids have the IBC before their name. So you can, if you put in the search on Instagram, just type in IBC, you see all these kids. But that's how I'm able to watch all of them. And if there's anything semi-questionable, they get a message from one of us coaches, like, take it off. Take this off your wall, take the tweet down, something, man, because that'll come back to haunt you. Everything's so questionable, and there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. So I always say, man, don't leave yourself open for interpretation from somebody else. We just got to really be careful what we do and we say.
Right. That was something Desiree Ali was saying about, when she ran her clinics, is that, like, you have to worry about how backlash on social media works with younger kids, kids in general, man. And you got to teach them how to deal with it, right? If they do get that flack, I believe the word she used was respond with grace, right? That, like, I mean, like you were saying,
that's if people are attacking you.
Yeah, and like that's hard to teach kids. You know what I mean? How do you even teach that? Who's monitoring all these social media accounts, and you got to make sure they're like, hey man, hey, you're not just, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing everybody that's behind you, that's rooting for you, that loves you, that wants to provide you with opportunities, man. Think, at least think before you respond and react. And man, that's a very important role to play, man. I was saying that I didn't envy that, because that's a lot to teach, man. I'm 29 years old, learning how to do that more and more every day,
So, man, I'm 42 now. And I tell the kids, if you look at any post, any story, any tweet I've ever put out, nothing ever negative. I don't respond to negative comments. Everything's always positive, because I'm like, that's what I want to spread. That's what I want to share. So I tell the kids, man, you leave yourself wide open. You say something stupid, and people retaliate, and people jump on your words so fast, man. So you have to be very smart, man. Times are different. Colleges are looking at people with their social media accounts. Jobs now, man. I know from my work, when I was a director, we monitored everything. So if people called in sick, like, look up their Facebook, see if they were drinking last night. Sure enough, over there with Crown Apple shots and stuff. Like, oh, you called in, but you was drinking last night.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I called in.
So you had thousands of kids come through the IBC program on their way to college. What's your opinion? How do you feel about the name, image, and likeness rule in the NCAA?
Dude, it's crazy. Kids are making $1 million and haven't even played a snap of college football. I think it's dope because it opens it up to even like video games, man. Like, I miss NCAA, but now with the name, image, and likeness open again, they can have that, and kids can be on there, and they can actually get paid for it. I remember as a college student, man, being broke, but I had a lot of practice in Samoa, so it wasn't when people are like, oh my God, we gotta eat top ramen. It's like, Dude, I love top ramen.
Bro, this is shrimp flavor. This ain't even chicken. This is shrimp.
Or when you get the meat for the Oriental package, like, yeah. Or eat it raw. I still eat the sashimi raw. Kids will look at me like, Coach, are you really eating your top ramen raw? I was like, yeah, yep. Like, still good stuff,
my boy.
Right? Because growing up in Samoa, if you had 50 cents, you can get yourself a packet of sashimi and an ice cake.
And the ice
good.
cake.
And if you had 75, you get a sashimi and a soda. So you were good.
Yeah, man, the Fanta, the pineapple Fanta. Oh man, he was a baller if you had 75 cents in Samoa, man.
Yo, do you take your ice cake with a Simoy at the bottom or no?
Yeah, but you gotta flip it. You gotta learn how to flip
Gotta
the ice
flip
cake
it without
Man.
breaking the styrofoam cup.
Or if you were really high class and you hit the spots that were really good, it costs 35 cents to get the one that's mixed with milk. So if you get the ice cake that's mixed with milk,
got a little swirl in it.
I would love to see that on a TikTok.
Oh, yes. We were just talking about that because we still cook. So all of my coaches, like we have barbecues and stuff here at the house. All of my coaches, we compete. So we not only compete when we're doing football, we come here and we compete with our cooking and everything. So all the moms and the wives are all the judges, and we go to town, man. We go ham on cooking everything, barbecue, you name it. But we have some professional chefs. So we have Island Boy Kitchen. So when we created our first league, we also had Island Boy Kitchen across the street. So you could play football, but our coaches would be calling plays, and then they have to run across the street and flip chicken and stuff, and then run back and call more plays. People are like,
I gotta get these ribs. I gotta get these ribs. Oh man, that's dope.
But you know, man, that's how our kids, they eat good, and our kids understand, you know, the term breaking bread. On all of our teams, they know when we say, hey man, we're gonna break bread, kids are like, we're gonna eat. We got some potato salad and some rice. Like, let's go. You know, but it's that culture because a lot of these kids don't get that, you know, and it just is something as simple as all of us, like we get in big circles and we hold hands all around the circle and we say a prayer for every meal. You know, we tell them, man, that's how we're being thankful, man. Like, I know what it's like to be hungry, to really open your fridge and there's nothing in there. Some of these kids don't understand what that feeling's like, man, and what it'll do to you, you know, psychologically. But that's why we're very thankful for the gifts that we have, man. You know, growing up tough, man, it created that character for us, man. But it also, I don't ever want to go back to being broke. So, man, that's why I work. You know, I work as hard as I do. I get to sleep in maybe once every 2 weeks.
Hey.
Damn.
Oh, so, man, I gotta tell you something that I just seen circulation on social media, man. It was just before I forget, it was you talk a lot about services, you know what I mean, that's part of the culture. And like, man, it you know what I mean, I always say God's plan is bigger than ours, right? And we don't know everything that he does have in store for us. So the minute we get doubtful, you know what I mean, those are like tests of faith, right? Like, yo, God's like, yo, are you leaning more on yourself and not me? You know what I mean? That's why you feeling anxious about something. But I believe the saying was like, God does not call the qualified, God qualifies those who are called. And man,
Amen.
like you about the serviceman and how it legit started as an accident, right? But you kept pushing as much love and light into it as you could. You know what I mean? From your end, because you can't control how other people are reacting. You know, you can't worry about how passionate somebody else is about whatever they're doing. You can only control how passionate and how serious you are about your vision. You know what I mean? The blessing that you are aware of. And that's beautiful to see, because you're making it look easy, right? But I'm glad that, you know, you're breaking down a lot of stuff that you have to go through, maintain, you know, as far as relationships with the kids families, you know, while they're in your program and while they're not.
Yeah.
You know, like that's super tough, because then like it's 3 phases: before, during, after, you know, and you love them in each phase. It was like that's really tough, like on the mental, emotionally, spiritually, man. Like how do you take care of yourself? You know, like what you know what I mean? Like we're is it a never-ending well of
You know, I have my moments, man, but it's hard. I don't lose that motivation. Is the thing. You know, I found my purpose in life, you know, that purpose and passion thing. And that's my purpose is helping people, you know, no matter what. It's not bound by race, color, creed, any of that. It's just helping people, man. And it's amazing to see, kids be successful. It's one of the greatest gifts in life, man, to see somebody come from something, that's so hard, and to see them turn it in and blossom into something beautiful. Like that, to me, that's the greatest gift, man. And I get to relive it every year around graduation. Like I try to get to as many graduations as I can, man. You don't understand the amount of lays. We have hundreds of lays in here that we make, we deliver. And kids will be like, damn, coach, you showed up. It's like, yeah, man, but I'm only here for 5 minutes because there's another graduation up the road I got to get to. But it's life, man. These kids, I want to give them the world. I know I can't, but we do our best. Me and my coaches and all the volunteers, because we have so many. And that's the thing, is everybody's like, damn, we did this. Like, man, I didn't do it. The power of we is one of the most powerful things around. Like faith and work. It's like we have our hard times, man, but we know we get past this. Even this shall come to end. All our lessons and growing up, back home with the church and stuff, everything comes into play, because there's always a scripture that fits any kind of hardship that you face. So we use that, man. I tell people, man, I have Proverbs on my arms for a reason, man. Proverbs 17:17, man. And that's gonna be something. That's how our dad taught us, and that's always gonna be, something instilled. And that's what we instill in the kids. It's like, man, when times are rough, you lean on the people around you. You lean on your faith and stuff. We had that footprints poem, with the God's footprints and stuff. And he's talking about, it was in these times I carried you. You didn't do it by yourself and stuff, man. So that's always in the back of my head. Is I know when I'm facing some of the hardest times of my life, I got him. And I believe he's always going to come through. And, man, knock on wood, my God hasn't failed me, man. And I'm very strong in that. I believe that he'll continue, as long as I continue to do it right and make sure that my people are doing it right. Like God will always find a way, to take care of us, man. That's 100% truth right there, man.
Amen.
Secret to your success, man, is your faith, and you're strong in it, man. So I hope everybody sees that, man, how strong you are in your faith. Because, I hate to say it, but as a culture, that's what you were taught. And not too many people from back home, like how we came up, not too many people who move out here keep a lot of that with them. So it's great to see. Literally, that's the key to your success, is your faith. And everybody that gravitates towards you, because people gravitate towards you. That's, man, I can see it, how people gravitate towards you, and they get faith off of your faith, and so forth and so forth. So just like Uri said, man, you're pushing that love and light out there, and it grows. So that's great to see, man.
Thank you. Who else noticed how great and positive Island Boy Camp was doing? The state of Oregon. Island Boy Camp Family and Friends Day is August 18th every year. What's good? Congrats every year, on that.
Man. It's such an amazing thing, man. I one of those things from an accident, man. We didn't anticipate it. I got a call from one of our other founding fathers, Funaki. He's a probation officer, juvenile probation officer with Oregon Youth Authority. And he was all like, man, the story of everything that we're doing got pushed up to the governor's office, and they gave us a proclamation. And she was all like, for all of the hard work and the volunteerism that Island Boy Camp has done, and for all the lives affected, like, we want to give you guys your own holiday. So I have the proclamation here on my wall. When you walk into my house, the proclamation is right there, signed by the governor, every August 18th. So we get to celebrate, man. We do we do a full free community barbecue and stuff, and a volleyball tournament where all the uncles are still the champs. We're undefeated champs. So like the kids bring their teams, the boys and the girls, and then all the aunties bring a team. But, we have some ringers and stuff that we bring in to make sure that we keep that volleyball title with us, because some of us can't jump as high as we could back in our playing days, But, we have to win something, man. So we do that. And then we do a big turkey bowl every year with the kids. And it's grown into this big thing. And then our coaches are undefeated in turkey bowl. So it's an elementary game. So all the kids from elementary play against each other, big flag football game. Then it's the middle school kids, and then the top high school kids around versus the IBC coaches. And we're undefeated as coaches too there. So there's a theme there, man. Sooner or later, they're going to beat us. But right now, we're 11-0 against the top high school talent in the state. It's tough, man, because we're usually down out of work for the next week. Some of us can't walk. Some of us call it in like, I need to take a couple personal days because, man, my knees all swollen, my back's all tight. Yeah, and I only ran like 5 plays. So, but it's just fun, man. We're able to do these things and just be blessed with all that. But the holiday, man, it's amazing. Like, my dad, that was the first person I thought of, man. My dad passed in 98. And me and my brothers talked about that. Like, damn, man, if Pops was alive to see this, he would have been like, yep, my boys did it, man. And he was the inspiration. Like I said, we didn't expect to do any of this, but this was him doing it by himself in Samoa, getting kids off to college, getting kids trained, getting kids seen by other trainers, and bringing people to Samoa. It started with him, Eugene Reed, and both of them have passed now. And they, a lot of kids have come out of there that they knew my dad as Pops. So it's a beautiful thing, man. A lot of times when I go to his grave in Hawaii, he's buried up at Kaneohe at the Veterans Memorial. There's usually a 6-pack of beer there. So always players will come in and they'll drop off a 6-pack of beer from my dad. And there's notes and flowers. Like, it's his influence, man. That's another thing that keeps us going. It's like, man, because my dream is to eventually, and we're working on it now, get our own field where we don't have to rent any field from anybody. So that's the next thing that's in the works, man. Along with all the grants, we got a couple grants. We got a COVID grant when it came in, and we were able to provide like almost 50 families with rental relief. So it's either rental relief or utilities up to like $1,000 a family. So we did that last year, and then we just got another bigger one to help even more families in our areas.
How does that work? Getting grants?
Tessa, that's how it works, man. She applied.
Have someone who knows what they're
Yep.
doing.
And she's the brains, and she had heard about it. Somebody was all like, you should apply for this. And we didn't think we'd get it. So she applied. Another group here got about 2 million, and we got like 50,000. Yeah. And it was just to go to help families that were behind on rent or utilities. So they had to, apply. And if they met the criteria, a check was cut to their landlord for that, or to whatever the utilities and bills and stuff. And so when they found out that we had used the whole thing just on the families and stuff, we didn't, they're all like, we want to give you guys more.
Nice.
So we want to take our list of the people that we helped and try to help, even more families, because people are struggling, man. COVID hit hard all over the place, but for Salem Kaiser, that's another thing right now is we'll get the information out for that, but we have another big grant. That, and we were given a grant to host free camps around. So even more, I'll be able to take care of coaches and have free camps for kids of all ages, from as young as 2 to 3 years old, which we get quite a few, all the way up to kids that are in college that are home that need some work and stuff. So, and
that's big, man. Especially this last year, we saw the shutdowns and how it affected people's mental, and then gym shut down, school shut down, and just being able to provide a camp where people can safely be, outside, so limit transmission, but really just interact with people and other human beings, man, and just how big that is, especially for developing teenagers or even younger kids. Just so another thing to provide.
We saw during COVID, the studies came out, and Oregon was top 5 in the nation in teen suicide ideality, depression, and there was another thing that they hit on, but we were top 5 in the nation, state of Oregon. So that's why it was imperative. It's like, dude, we have to do something. Like, kids, and there's people that lost a lot of family members and stuff, and the depression piece was big, man. And mental health is such a tricky thing. I'm lucky I work in the mental health field that, I know some things, but man, reaching out to kids and kids not wanting to do anything. And you've seen that a lot more. Video games were being played and stuff, and kids kind of just isolating and stuff. But you're 100% right, man. That interaction with a person is so important, man. It's just that feeling of belonging, man. That goes to that hierarchy of needs and stuff, man. And these are all things that we touch on with our kids. So we tell our coaches too, like, dude, you have a list, you check in with those kids. And it's something as simple as
Nice.
you want to go get a meal or you want to go to the
And then after the funeral, you're in the back eating plates with him and talking. You know, he's actually kind of cool. You know what I mean? And that's
believe it or not, man, all my cousins, especially my cousins from Leone, because my dad's from Leone. So when we were at the market, we ran the makeki and stuff in Foncongo, and it was like when Pango was about to fight Leone, I go and talk to all my cousins, all the Bryce brothers, the Heather brothers.
Johnny and for him too.
Hey, totally. Also, look at Bussy, man. They're all like, "Hey, yo." So we're like, "What?" So please, man, get on the bus, and as soon as you guys leave, the rest of these guys are gonna get jumped. They're like, "What?" So I'm like, "Yeah, they go from a mullet." And so they would do the same. So if I got to the airport, and man, I did a lot of stupid stuff, so everybody wanted to beat me up, man. I got jumped a lot back home. But when I would go to see Tessa, because she had a store in New Uli eyeing a basket.
Everybody used to catch. It was like Bus Central. That was the bus station. So if you were in front of Tessa's store, you were either there to see Tessa or you were trying to catch a bus to go home.
Yeah, I got jumped so many times, or I'd have to catch a bus to Leone, call my dad up in Pango to come all the way to pick me up, because dudes would be waiting, be like, tell him it was either something I did or somebody from Pango or my brother Mike. Like, Mike, and it could be something from like 7 years ago.
Which was funny because Mike wasn't even in high school when you were in high school.
Mike was in college. Mike was with Timo and all these knuckleheads at ASCC, which was a whole different party. Man. American Samoa Community College had some of the craziest dudes in the world, man.
Oh man, and they were all former football players who couldn't go nowhere.
And they always sit there and play dominoes and pipito all day, man.
He last knows because he used to play dominoes in the back of the cafeteria.
Hey man, I started playing micro limit Texas Hold'em poker at ASCC under the huts, and we would play 10 cents a hand. And I taught people how to play Texas Hold'em so I could get some lunch money. And I would get like a couple dollars a day. And then they started like watching videos and World Series of Poker shit and started beating me. And they were like, "That's an inside straight draw." And I I was like, "Who the fuck are you? And how did you learn that?" Oh,
hey, is that how you got the Saimini and the soda? That's how you got that ice cake?
2 ice cakes,
that's
bro.
how, if you had a quarter, you can go anywhere on the island back in the day.
Oh,
they said it's a lot more expensive now.
It's like $1 now, man.
Bus fare is $1?
It's almost $1 now, yeah.
Man,
Inflation. You had $1, you were riding the whole
You was a baller.
day.
Yo,
because you had a quarter in each
quarter.
pocket. Because people would always ask for money, so you had to hide it right.
Yo.
So you would have a quarter in each pocket and a quarter in each sock. It's like, I'm just gonna hide it and pretend like I ain't got it. Because if you slap your pockets and they hear change, people are like,
So you got 2 quarters to make a noise. Let me get one of them.
Right. But if you didn't know nobody, they knew they could punk you, bro. They didn't even pat your pocket. They dug your pocket.
Yeah.
You feel a hand in your pocket.
Damn.
Oh, man.
That's the thing about Samoans, especially, man. They're the biggest bullies in the world. I laugh, though. Always trying to shush somebody, too, especially when something goes down. Like, shh, shh.
Yep. There you go.
So people are like, "Why are you shushing me?" It's like, man, sorry, man. It's an old habit.
Right.
Shushing people.
I was telling these guys earlier, man, when I was little, I thought my name was Aikai for like the first half of my life, man.
Hey, I just imagine all the other kids from like other cultures that aren't Samoan, Tongan, or Islander, that's going through all the IBC programs, and when they go meet other people, what I mean, they're like, "Hey,
yeah, okay."
They're like, "What, bro? What are you doing?" It's like, "Oh my god!"
You know what throws people off the most is we'll be at a function and the kids will look, "Hey, what's up, Oos?" And the kids will say, "What's up, Oos?" to each other, and other Samoans.
Oh,
damn, for reals? Like, man, they know what's up. And we're like, "What's up, Oos? How you doing, Oos?" But they understand that that's the slang. So we tell them, man, like, if I got love for you and stuff, man, that's one of the biggest compliments I can give you is to call you.
Yeah.
People be like, "Oh, so can I use it?" Yeah, male to male or female to female, but not, and we're
not the other way around.
Yeah, so man, it's dope though, because I'll hear kids, man, "Hey, Oops, man, can you pass that right there?" It's like, man, that's the culture, and that's being able to spread the culture is so dope, man, because the kids will be out here, they'll sing or they'll listen to us, with the reggae. So got little kids in high school and stuff, Palangi Maoli kids bumping Bug, or they know what Labor of Love 2 is and stuff, man. It's like, what? It's like, man, that's sharing the culture, man. That's what we know, man. Goes back to back home, and then everything that we can do just to surround ourselves with each other, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
the reach. That's the reach.
Man, what a beautiful passing of the torch that is. Just that, like, all the compliments, all the accolades that you've received thus far in life, right? And you keep giving it up to your pops, man. Like,
yeah,
and then you doing that work too. You know what I mean? Like, that does not seem like a coincidence. God's plan is bigger than ours. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
know. And you never see it coming either, man. Like I had aunties growing up in Samoa because we were so bad. They'd be like, you ain't gonna live to see 21. It's like, damn. So that's motivation too. Is like, okay, I gotta change my life, man. I'm 42 now, so I done flipped that. Flipped it, man. I'm living, and I'm living proof that, man, dreams do come true, man, if you put in the work. I might not have $1 million in my bank account, man, but I got so much love and positivity and people around me, you know, and I just continue, man. I love it. You know, life is good, man. It's hard, but you know, I live a pretty good life, man. I'm able to put, you know, food on the table, clothes on my kids' back, and I walk tall wherever I go because, man, I know that my motivation in life is different. You know, I don't see things through a small lens, man. I have to have this big lens and see what we can do for as many people as possible. You know, this world is an ugly world, man, if you let it be, you know, but if you can just, you know, dig at it little by little, man, you can make it something beautiful, man. You know, carve out something for yourself that's beautiful. And that's where we're at. Like life is good. Even with you guys, you can tell, man, I love watching you guys stuff and you guys are smiling and laughing, man. Like, you know, you guys are on that journey as well where you see like, man, it's different. And you're doing something cool, man. You're bringing attention to our people and stuff, man, and in a positive light and hitting so many things. That's dope, man. That's everything comes full circle, man. Like I said, man, you don't see it when it comes, but when it comes, it's beautiful. It's like, dang.
It's a beautiful thing to see so many Polynesian and Pacific people just being badasses at things that they love and that they're passionate about. And that just gives us permission and it makes us comfortable being, you know, our honest selves and just like doing what we love. So, you know, we can help those around us and pushing out that love and light, positivity, and just keeping that example so that, like you said, it could be a dark world if you let it. But, you know, if we tell ourselves it's going to be okay and there's things we can do, that's a light. And if we can share that light with others that may not be in that place where they can do it themselves, that's a help to them too. And they can, you know, grow their light, put our lights all together and just make like a really big, you know, positive thing. And that's Eli says it all the time, positive feedback loop. It's like, and we keep telling each other that we're doing the right things, we're doing good stuff, it's just going to lead to even better
cycle,
things.
It's a good cycle.
It's
Eli's
I
always
like
positive, man. He's that's the Reverend right there every time we get together, man. So I learned a lot. He actually was down in Modesto with my first cousin of Ghana and stuff. So man, I hear amazing things about him from there too. So it's really cool to see, especially with where the apparel and stuff is, you know, and to see Jim Achi. That's one of my favorite dudes. I watch all his videos. And when he's wearing your guys' stuff, it's like, man, you know that y'all made it when you got a superstar in him, somebody that's really loved, because that's another dude that's really loved. But he out there rocking the apparel. It's like, man, I remember when you guys started it, you know, sitting there. Yeah, you were telling me about it. I was like, that's dope, man. If you can get my size, because I have a hard time finding my size in anything. If you get the Samoan size, just like the swap meets in Hawaii, geez, let's do it.
Oh, so I'll DM you.
Yes,
you know
sir.
What I mean, I got the wholesale apparel hookup out here in California now.
Oh, are you down there now?
Yeah, it was I moved down last summer, and so like I've been trying to get it popping out here.
He's in Modesto.
Yeah, I'm back in Modesto. Mofkanga actually lives in Fresno.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sounds hot. As soon as you say Modesto, Fresno, they got hella hot in here. It's like, oh, that's a different
Modesto.
You're over there wiping your sweat and stuff. Like, whoa.
Man, I got those light bulbs that don't heat up, man. I don't need that incandescent. You know what I mean?
Oh man, there's some candles at this point.
You right over here with the VASA Island Apparel,
you know,
the clothing company. I see it, bro. Yo, tell our listeners a little bit about it. What's going on?
Man, VASA Island Apparel is an apparel company that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. You know what I mean? We do a lot of like flipping logos. As you can see behind me. See the red brick. We out here. But nah, man, it's a big like a big reason like a lot of the work you do, Alex, that motivates us, man, is just because like I have an older sister, Doris Tulifa, who does Brown Girl Woke, is that NGO, and she's based out in Samoa, right? And like I wanted to, it was just a creative idea with clothing, right? But I wanted to do like community work because I've seen other people do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so like, especially, you know, being around minds like Timo, you know what I mean? And like just the barbecues that y'all did with Top Flight and seeing just how collaborative you can be, you know what I mean? How much you can get done by just like a few dedicated people who are passionate, you know what I mean? Not that many things can get in your way. You know what I mean? Like if any.
Amen.
Right. And so that's basically how it started, man. I was just going to work, man, just talking designs with Lance, bro, and going back like, hey, how does this look? Yo, how do we change this? You know what I mean? Like, and then now it's so crazy. COVID kind of brought out the best, you know what I mean? And me and you know, everybody that was around me, all that stuff we was talking about at the door, you know what I mean? At the club, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, bro, I gotta do it now. You know what I mean? Like, what if not now, it's never. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man. A lot of it's just learning how to print shirts online, apparel. I would love to see how I could be a sponsor at one of your camps, Zeus, or
let's do it,
whatever
man.
games, Zeus. You know what I mean? I'd go back and forth with you about some designs, or I could just donate
man.
hella shirts, jerseys, whatever. Zeus, let me know.
Man, let's do it, man. Like I said, I work with everybody that's of like mind, man. That's all I want. I want people that are doing it for the right reasons and stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the collaborative mind is a hard one because not everybody wants to do that. You know, so many people be like, nah, man, I want this piece of the pie to myself. It's like, man, imagine what we can do together. You know, that's that power of we. So that's why I tell coaches all the time when I bring other coaches in to work with us, like, we can do some amazing things for these kids, you know, and with your apparel, man, we can do some amazing things for people everywhere, not just Cali, but Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Samoa, all over, man. So it's possible. It's gonna take some work, but we can do it.
Sure.
You know,
I'll get your size, Zeus.
let's go. I went down one size because it is, but
medium now.
I wish I was back to my 1996, 197 pounds.
197 pounds.
Dunking on people.
College, man, I walked in and met the coaches for the very first time in 96, and they looked at me, they're all like, you ain't a linebacker, man. So what? They're all like, receiver. So like, what?
Ooh.
I was all like, no, man. So we went out, we had combine first day, and my combine numbers were weak except for my 40. I ran a 4.8 there at my freshman year. So, but my numbers, like strength-wise, wasn't there compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But the coach that's at Northern Arizona now, his name is Chris Ball. He was all like, you Islanders are the same everywhere I go. You guys have horrible ethic when it comes to lifting, running. But the second we put on the pads, all of a sudden you guys are superstars. So he's like, when we put on the pads in 2 days, come, I want you. It's like, all right, cool. So put on pads, I get out there, and my man's like, what's your last name? And we have it all written on our foreheads. And Fuimanono, he's all like, I can't pronounce that shit. So he took my last name, ripped it off, tore the Maono part off, and threw it down, and just put Fui back on my head. And he's all like, from now on, we're calling you Fui. So I'm like, all right. And that's how the nickname Fui stuck, was from a college coach and stuff. And man, as soon as I put on the pads, because the first day after combine, I was like the 9th string Sam backer at Western Oregon. And we had 3 weeks before our first game against Chico. By the end of those 3 weeks, man, I was the backup to the guy that's the special teams coordinator for Boise State right now, and the Northwest recruiter, my boy Stacy Collins out there. So, man, I got a lot of playing time. I actually played both ways and returned kicks in college, man. Just people like, what? It's like, man,
Nice.
It was just different. but that's how I got the nickname Fui. It was like, man, it's just accidents. My life has been like a collection of beautiful accidents, man. It's something.
It's
not everywhere.
sounds like God's plan.
It is, man. A lot of people don't even know. Like pre-96, people know me as Alex. Anybody that met me after 96 in college, they know me as Fui. Even on my professional business cards, it's like that. Alex Fui Fuimanono. Whenever I get introduced, it's Coach Fui. It's like, who's Alex? It's like, oh, that's me. My alter ego and stuff, man.
That's the old.
That's me.
Like, that's me with long hair.
Yeah, man. I just cut my hair again too, man. My hair was long, and then come April, it was just hot, and I was done. So me and my son Phil, we just chopped it all off, man. I'm back to the bald head.
Hey,
Yo.
once I got to Modesto, man.
No, I'm never doing it. No, I'm gonna keep it.
I had to, man. My hairline is running away from me and stuff. So I so I was like, oh yeah, we gotta get this rid of, man.
What kind of football player is Phil?
Oh, dude, Phil, he's 8 now. We released his player card last week through Aiku, my brother's his company. Phil's 5'4", 180 pounds, 8 years old. And he's a monster, man. Like, we get pads next week, and I don't know who's gonna want to hit with him, because without pads, he's already training with high school. So my brother Chris, he's the high school O-line coach at McKay High School down here. So Phil goes in the mornings and trains with the high school. He does the sled work, all the linemen work with them. And then he comes to our practice, our 3rd and 4th grade practice, and he's like a mini coach out there. I'll be like, hey, we're going to work on our kick step. Phil, step up and show them. So he'll do his kick step, and kids are just like, I don't even know my left or my right yet. Kick step with his hands and his shuffle. But he's 8 now. Phil's been on the field with us since he was 2. When his brother Teeny was playing, I couldn't keep Phil off the field. So I had to get him his own helmet and pads. So he's always worked out, but he's never been able to hit until this year. So this is his first year. And Phil he's the most loved kid in probably Oregon. Like, he's popular everywhere we go. Even Hoopla. He just did Hoopla 8U, and he was killing kids. I mean, his screens at 180 pounds versus
180, oh man.
65-pound point guards flying all over the place. They lost in the championship for 8U with their Iowa squad. Kids stepped
Overtime,
back, man. And then you only have to score 3 points in overtime. And it's a championship game, but he worked his ass off. And he's looking at basketball. It's like, hey, whatever, man. I don't care how big you are. It's like, you play whatever you want, son. Play whatever. It's like, as long as you're doing something that sets you up. But on the line, I'll send you guys this schedule when it comes. We just had our draft last night, and I ended up with a really good team, but it started with him. He was automatic on my squad. It's like, I got my top lineman. Guess where I'm running this year? It's like, I'm running all my best guys right behind Phil, man. Every play in the playbook is going to be follow Phil.
Follow Phil left.
On two. Ready?
If follow Phil left doesn't work, follow Phil right.
Phil right.
And if all else fails, give the ball to Phil.
We were training him. He's all like, I want to be a running back, Dad. Cool. This year, they implemented in the 3rd and 4th grade for TVYFL, the league that we play in, weight limit. And it's 105 is the cutoff to carry the ball for 3rd and 4th graders. So it broke his heart. Luckily, we were in the arcade when they sent me the stuff. So I gave him an extra $5 bill before I told him. So here's son. Like, oh, thanks, Dad. I was like, hey, by the way, man, you can't.
By the way, to break your heart real quick.
I didn't know how to tell him, man. But now it's like, when we came home, my man was crying, sitting there just not talking to anybody. So like, hey, man, listen. We can pout about it, or you can embrace being a big and beautiful guy and just take it out on everybody that we play this year. He's all like, I like that plan. So, okay, just do your thing, man. We finally got this crazy lineman. Like, we did the Kava Cup just recently, and it's it was a big 5-on-5, which is big now for football. You got 7-on-7, it's all the skill guys. They catch a lot of touchdowns, but the 5-on-5 is 1-on-1, lineman versus lineman, pass rush. And he played on a 5th and 6th grade team that was really well. So he's had all this training, and we're emphasizing, lineman stuff. So seeing that is like, and we got some dogs. One of our guys that was a star of the Kava Cup, his dad's actually from back home as well. His name is Dave Yuli, but the kid just signed with Oregon.
Oh,
like
yeah.
But that kid is something else, man. He trains with Faipea Ava AEP. It's one of the better lineman training facilities in Washington. Him and then another oops that I work with up there, Quinn Evans. He's another lineman trainer. So I'm phasing away because where Phil's at is line stuff. I'm phasing away from the 7-on-7. I got enough coaches there that now I'm going back to working with linemen and stuff all over. So
with the next great lineman,
right,
or football player, basketball player, whatever he wants to do.
The next great one. That's what's the next great one.
Yep.
Oh, so how do I got some nephews, bro, in high school. One of the bigger ones, his name's Troy. Bro's like 6'3", 6'4", and growing, 380. Yeah, I mean, he's as a freshman. He's going to be a sophomore this next year in high school. And like, I definitely want to get him up to your camps, man. I want to see how he does in the IBC circuit because it's a circuit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I definitely got to hit you up, man, and see how we can get him up there. I want to see how he does with that, man, because it was just super funny, man, because he goes to the private high school out here in Modesto, Central Catholic.
Oh, nice. Those private schools generally have the money to do a lot of good training, but lineman specific stuff, I think in California, Big Skills is there. Yeah, Chris Talamaival there in California that's really, really good. And then anything that you can get to if Jesse Sapolu has his camp around, because 505 is big. And for us polys, it's normal, man. It's the thing.
Yeah.
Get these polys out there. We seen kids that I had to look up to while I was reffing, you know, and they're in high school. And I'm looking at them like, what's up, Boost? And they're looking at me like, tapping me on the shoulder. Thank you, Uncle. It's like, damn, dude. And I'm tall, I'm 6'3", you know, and I'm looking up at these kids like, damn, just giants, man. But
hey, you got to hit them with the
yeah, I still. But that's a beautiful thing is they all, even if they don't know me, they come, Uncle, you know, and they're really nice about it. I'm like, cool, man. If you just sit down and talk to me, we're good. The second we stand up, it's not good.
Just do them like your dad used to do them in Samoa.
Oh man.
Just NBA free agency just finished. A couple players have switched teams. Some players, you know, turned down $84 million to accept 5.9 with Celtics. That happens.
Yeah, what was Schroeder?
It happens, man. People.
But he wasn't going to get no playing time behind the human triple double.
No.
Well, okay, let's start. I mean, I feel like if they re-signed Schroeder, if Schroeder would have accepted that, would Russell Westbrook still have happened? Would they have made those trades, or would they not have had the money to? I mean, you're not going to pay, what is that, $21 million a year for a backup point guard, right? But what does how do you feel about Russell Westbrook?
I'm intrigued. All I want is to break that championship tie with the Celtics. As soon as we break that, because my brother Mike, he's been a Celtics fan since we lived in Long Beach as kids, and he's always held that over my head until we tied them up. So I'm all like, we were talking about it tonight. So I'm like, Russell Westbrook. So like, whatever, man, y'all old. So I'm like, yeah, but man, if we can put it together, if they can stay healthy for all 82 games and in the playoffs, you know, if things work out and we see that super matchup between the Nets and the Lakers, man, that'll be a great series. And, you know, my hashtag right now is hashtag LIS. It's Lakers in 6. You know, we'll give a couple to the Nets and stuff, but Lakers in 6, that's my prediction. Bron's going to get a couple more at least. You know, and there's a lot of people that hate on him. And to be honest, I wasn't a big Bron fan until he became a Laker. Like, that's how diehard of a Laker fan I am. But now that he's there, it's like, oh, he's cool, man. He's not better than Kobe Bryant, though, but he's still cool. He's 2B. As Kobe will always be 2A to me, man.
Yeah. Who's number 1?
It's got to be Jordan, man. If it isn't Jordan, then it doesn't really count.
Doesn't really count.
Yeah, I mean, and I lost a lot of money growing up, and I didn't have a lot of money growing up. But I always bet against Jordan, and I bet against Joe Montana, bet against Steve Young, and it just was not good for me, man. But you know, I'm loyal. I'm a loyal fan to my teams. I'm a diehard Chargers fan, diehard Trojans fan, diehard Lakers fan, all SoCal teams. And you know, for a couple of years there, we were doing very well, and then all of a sudden, you know, they took away a championship for my '05 Trojans and the Heisman from Reggie. But Trojans are back. The Chargers look good. Lakers are strong as hell. So man, it should be a good sports year for me at least. And I'm an intense game watcher. I don't watch any games with people that aren't fans of my team. I can't. It's just my kids know too. Like if I'm watching the Chargers and they end up losing, like the table's gonna get broken, or I'm just gonna be really mean for the rest of the day. And you know, Lance, you know, we're diehard Charger fans. The last couple of years, we've lost a lot of very close games. So
I've been so mean to people on Sunday nights for
right?
the last couple of years. It's just always a funky mood. Like,
Right.
why do we always have the ball late and then someone steps in?
Right? And then we find when Rivers was there, and I love Rivers, and I got to watch him a couple times, but there in the end, from Norv Turner on, we're finding creative ways to lose games.
Really good at snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. We were supposed to be running out the clock for a win, but somehow it's a fumble, it's a quick interception,
Or we can't make a field goal. Like Badgley, he getting booed still right now. It's like, go ahead, get rid of him already, man.
I want him to do
Kick
well,
him to the
but
curb.
we also need consistent good kicking.
Did you ever catch a game down at the Q?
I didn't. I think when I was really young, but like I think I just went with my family. I probably didn't really recognize what was going on. We went to it wasn't that day, but I think we went to Sal, the restaurant after, and Junior came up to the table and was like talking to my dad. Oh man, that was so crazy. It's this big guy, curly hair. And my dad was like, "This is Junior Seau." And I was like, "Is your name the one that's outside on the restaurant? This is your restaurant?" He's like, "Yeah, it's my restaurant." And I was like, "Oh, dope." This is before I was like a smaller kid. I think I was like 5 or 6. I wasn't even watching football, so I didn't even know who this man was. I just knew that he was talking to my dad at the table. And then he asked me like what I was gonna eat, and I fucking said chicken strips. And he was like, "Oh, that's good." And then he walked away. And that was the one time I met Junior Seau.
Damn, I never got to meet him, but man, the day he died, man, I left work. Dude, I cried, man. That was my inspiration for playing football growing up, man. When I got there, we were diehard SC fans. You know, my dad really loved the Trojans, and when he played there with Mark Carrier and all those guys, it was dope. But growing up in Samoa, man, you had all these Niner fans, Raider fans, Cowboy fans, Steelers fans. Now there weren't a lot of Steelers fans back then. All of a sudden, almost every Samoan is a Steeler fan. Like,
they have more Chiefs fans. They have more Chiefs fans just because of Dan Samoa. So
like, so how did people choose their teams back home? How did people choose their teams back home?
Based on what was played, because we only had 2 channels growing up. So generally they played the West Coast games, which was the Raiders or the Niners. And a lot of, America's team got to be played a lot, and they were winning. So a lot of people saw the Cowboys. So those were the 3 teams growing up. And so for me, when Seau went to San Diego, and my dad used to work at the shipyard in Long Beach before we moved to Samoa, and we would spend our summers in San Diego. Nice. So it just became like my oldest son, his name is Diego. He's half Samoan, half white with a Hispanic name, but it's because of the Chargers he got his name Diego. It was like, oh, I thought he was Hispanic. Like, nah, dude. Like, because of the Chargers, man. It's like, but me and him went to a couple games, man. It's, I'm still everything Charger everywhere I go. My kids, I even took a team to Vegas, my 10U squad, and they were known as Lights Out. So it had the full Charger gear, everything, man. Best uniforms at the whole tournament. Everybody, dude, those uniforms are sick, man. I probably could have got sued if we made money off of it, because it was straight up Charger gear, head to toe. Even our hats and stuff all had Chargers on it. But it was finally time to take a squad, because every year I try to vote, a Charger like theme onto our stuff. It's shot down by everybody, man. Like, nope, the whole board. Because I still answer to a board. I have a board that I don't get to vote on stuff, but that's how we set up our business. So when the board is here, like I have to default to the board for everything. So I actually have people that I answer to, which is our board, which works perfect.
I mean, but those are people that you trust to make those decisions.
They're
that you
all
install.
different people involved with the camp, other community people that come in, and we have full board meetings and everything, and we sit down and discuss what our moves are, what we need to do, what certifications or trainings need to be done. But it's a business, man. So we do a lot of it. Luckily, like I said, Tessa is the business person, so she does all of that. She said,
God bless Tessa.
Yeah. And she's in Maui right now, just living it up, man. County's final trip as a senior, they had a big wedding and stuff. So they were in Oahu, just flew to Maui, then they fly home tomorrow. So they've been gone for a minute.
Yeah, safe travels back. Hopefully families all reunited safely and soon. We appreciate the time and the game that you've given to us today, and just all the information and the positivity and the love, and we very much appreciate it. And whatever you need from us to advance IBC and your vision, please let us know, and you got us. We're rocking with you.
Amen.
Will do, man. Thank you guys, man. I really appreciate. It's just good just to talk, man. We're some good people, man. That's that. Iron sharpens iron, man.
Hey, man.
Yes.
It's therapy for me, family.
So before we go, just checking in with the guys. We're gonna give Alex his flowers right now. What are some things that we were proud to see Alex and IBC doing?
Whew, man, like I said, me and Alex come from the same time frame back home, so I know the struggles he went through. Same struggles he went through, I went through. Having to come from the States and live back home and having to be accepted by kids back home, it's tough, man. I mean, there's no such thing as bullying when we were growing up. And it's what, if you wanted tough skin, even now, if you want tough skin, send your kid back home, man. You know what I mean? He'll come back and you can't tell him nothing. He'll take everything as everything they tell him in the States, it'll be constructive criticism. Because back home, they don't know what that is. All they know is criticism. Yep. So, but like I said, man, the journey that Alex has taken, it's not the same journey as mine, but we've walked the same path. I know where he's coming from back home. I know his dad, and one time, me and my family, we loved his dad too. I'm from, my grandparents are from Pangu, so I was always in Pangu. Yeah, man, just, it's more than being proud of Alex. It's just a lot of the stuff he's done, man. It'll reach places that he won't know yet until later. And that's always your legacy, is that when Coach Fui's done and he sees how far it's reached, the parts that he doesn't know yet, where some kid will see this podcast maybe, or be at a camp he was at that he never noticed, and is going to thank him for getting him to a place where he would have never been without seeing Coach Fui. And I mean, that's what I'm going to be proud about, because that's the reach he's really already, he's doing such great things now. Just imagine the reach he has later. So, yeah, man, hats off to you, man. There's not too many people that can say they do this stuff for the love of the kids and for everybody involved, And that's always my plan when I was back home. It's the same plan you had. It's always out of love. People always ask, man, what do you get from it? The satisfaction that this kid's gonna have something to do, And that was exactly what you were talking about. And yeah, man, it's rare to see out here. It's rare to see amongst a lot of the people that come out here because of all the hardships that you face. People are always going to throw negativity at you, and the way that you've been able to just brush it to the side off with the kids, that's amazing, man. Good stuff, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, man.
Man, it's as far as giving you your flowers, man, I see everything you've done that you're doing, Us, and like it motivates the fuck out of me, Us, because like it lets me know, it proves to me, Us, that it works. You know what I mean? That like, bruh, because Lance know how into my own head I would get about a creative idea, or even starting the VASA, and how much I probably overthink stuff. You know what I mean? Didn't get to being assertive with the idea or the creativity. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then like just to hear you talk to like, yeah, bro, it wasn't just me. I found some people that helped me build a plan, and it became something bigger than what I would ever think it to be. And like that, man, it was that really does not necessarily, well, it puts me at ease and it hypes the fuck out of me lately, just because, you know, I've been thinking about, yo, like, how we gonna build a podcast? I just started working another job, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm slaving away for another man's time and not putting time into my own dream, you know, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But then, man, it was just hearing you talk about how, like, it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't just you give it to God. You were surrounded by like-minded people. It motivates me, it puts me at ease, and realize that, like, yo, all the anxious thoughts I've been having about, like, what to do next. Am I being productive or am I being busy? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, am I learning the difference? Am I putting the work I need to put into it, you know, to get the results? And man, it was just to hear how you've been building IBC, what it is now, bro. All those, everything that you talked about so nonchalantly, bro, and you were traveling everywhere. Bro, I want to do that. I'll do that, bro. I'm trying to be on a flight with Forrest and Lance going somewhere. You know what I mean? Just based on the brand, bro. But man, it really does prove to me that it works. We just gotta keep doing what we're doing, and, like, you know what I mean, you're gonna keep motivating us every step of the way, man. And man, listen, I love you for that, man. For real, for like,
Love you too.
you know what I mean? And you saw us grow up, bro. We was downtown. You know what I mean? Knuckleheads probably spending money in all the wrong places, you know what I mean? And then, man, you know what I mean? It's just to see it, to go from, like you said, bro, to go from those nights, bro, we were just chilling at the door, talking shit. You know what I mean? You was eating that Dirty's pizza, which was always good at like 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the best. It was just the best, you know? Like,
it soaked up all the alcohol. You were good.
Yeah.
But man, it was like, yeah, thank you for being a walking example, bro. That love and light works. That being selfless works. You know what I mean? That is to harbor any greed, negativity towards anything, when really our time on here is limited. Why not spread as much positivity as you could, man?
Yeah.
And oh man, it's dope, Oos.
Thank you.
Dope, Oos, giving you all your flowers, Oos, all your all the calo, all the breadfruit, all the everything, Oos, all those little flowers.
Yeah.
The hibiscus.
Man, yeah, like Eroy said, you have provided a blueprint to so many people that, like, I mean, even that we don't know, but we're definitely part of that group that is inspired and motivated by your example, your living example, that you can follow your passions, help people, and build something successful, and build something that's affecting thousands of people, thousands of families, just from your love, you know, for other people, your love for football, your love for coaching. And we see that coaching doesn't just stay between the lines, man. You're a life coach for so many people. And I mean, for us too. Oh, it's you can always say, well, what will we do? We'll be like, hey, just be chill about it, bro. We're gonna get through it. It's gonna be all right. Like, it's just, yo, that positivity and that organization with like-minded people that share that vision, is the blueprint for success. And we hope to follow the example that you provided. And we love you for everything that you do for the community and for our people. And we appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for your work and for IBC. Thank you.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you for coming to the shows.
Yes,
and just before we leave, you got any shout outs or any last things you want to say?
Man, shout out to you guys, man. You know, it's I wasn't nervous going in. I was really excited just to sit down and talk, because I knew, man, you know, I see that you guys are hungry and you guys are doing cool things, man. So it's a blessing for me too, to be able to not to just share my story, but to hear where you guys are, because, you know, I've been there, man. So I know, man, just stay on your grind, man, because you guys are doing amazing things and you guys are touching lives too, man. And we can all do this together. We need more people like that, especially for our people, man. You know, drugs and a lot of bad things can happen to our people. You see it. You see, especially the effects of the rock and stuff. So seeing guys that are out here positive, trying to do different things, you know, a lot of times they tell you can't do it, but that should be motivation to be like, all right, I'm gonna do it. You know, so it's good to see where you guys are going, and I can't wait to see y'all get even bigger stars and stuff on here that be like, man, you guys are on your way, because you guys found something special, man. That I'm honored that we can come on to the show and share, our experience and stuff, man. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to do some work with y'all and stuff too in the future. So, man, definitely shout out to you guys, man. My wife Tessa, my kids, man, Nicole, Diego, Tiani, Tini, Phil, Nilo Vetta, my brothers, my mom, of course, man, my village of Pango, all of IBC, man, just the state of Oregon, everybody, man. Just man, when you see me in real life, man, this is still me. I'm always gonna be cool. I'm always gonna be just sharing love. So that's what I hope that everybody can do. Because like I already said, man, we ain't got time. We got time to be negative. No time for bullshit, man. We gotta just put our grown man pants on and do the work. So thank you guys, man. I love it. Thank you very much for having me on the show tonight, man.
Honored to have
Thank you. Yeah, it is an honor. I mean, we were so excited. I'm still excited to talk with you. If people want to get a hold of you, if they want to get a hold of IBC or donate or collab, how do they do that?
IslandBoyCamp@gmail.com is our email, and then islandboycamp.org is the website. And you can catch us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We still got a MySpace too, so you can even MySpace
for the music.
Not the music. We really play a lot of the old music because they're parental advisory, man. My kids don't really know about the things, the material in our music was different time in our lives, man. My 20s were crazy. So, people that are trying to get us to drop a couple verses on that's up. It's all got to be clean these days because our stuff from back then wasn't clean, Well, I'll send you guys a link of some stuff, man. Let you guys hear some of our old stuff, but but it's all. But that's how you find us, man. Social media, especially. I answer everything on social media personally, which is a lot. So, but I'm heavy on social media, watching everybody and keeping everything light.
Nice. Yeah, got to be out there. Use those tools and communicate and reach as many people as possible. And again, that's so dope that you guys are doing that. And I'm glad that we were able to sit down with you tonight. Appreciate your time, bro. Thank you.
All right, love you guys, man. Thank you, man.
Love you too, man.
Go Chargers.
Yes, sir. Go Chargers. For Coach Fui, for Forrest, Steve Rye, I am Lance. This is VASA Sports.
Today's show, as always, sponsored by VASAIslandApparel.com for gear that represents the South Pacific Island languages and cultures accurately and responsibly. Put on for the culture. Catch the wave at VASAIslandApparel.com.